Hey guys, Christopher Rocky here. I thought I would do a video about the song A Quest of the Chaotic Good, the discussion sort of surrounding my motive and themes, expressing that song and how it inspired me to come up with those ideas with the motifs and the themes that are in the song. And I thought it'd be a cool discussion to have anyway. So basically, the song is about one of the 9 alignments that is from D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, or role-playing games. And the alignments are basically what your character is going to behave like, and maybe the decisions they'll make. And you can change during your experience of playing a character, but you get a general idea of what a character's like by learning about their alignment. And being exposed to this as a young kid, it was like the first sort of thing I heard of before any of the personality type categorizations of people. So for me, this is more ingrained than that, which is probably a good thing. I think there's a lot of benefit from character-wise, especially in storytelling too, knowing how your character's going to behave. If you're writing a story, having a character's alignment and knowing what they're like, how they're going to behave, you can write them better, their dialogue better, all that sort of stuff. So basically, I wanted to sort of talk about the different alignments. And if you've never heard of it, basically there's, if you look at the graph, there's 3 columns. So there's 9 alignments. So 3 across and 3 down. And you've got good, neutral in the middle, and evil. Vertically, you've got good to evil. And then horizontally, you've got lawful to chaotic. Now, what that basically means is that these ideas kind of oppose each other. And I'll give you an example of people that are chaotic good, So if I give you an example, I'll use. I looked up here some like Lord of the Rings characters, which I thought is a good way of talking about it. So Legolas is neutral good, so he could go either way. So if you look at his character over the entirety of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, particularly in The Hobbit, I would almost argue he's chaotic good too, but he does what is good. Actually, no, I would even go as far to say he may have been lawful good, which moved to neutral good, because he wanted to marry that girl, the lowland elf, and he's like royal blood, and he didn't, right? So that's like a lawful good action, because you're doing what's right by your people, by the law, right? And you've got Aragorn, who's lawful good. Now he's like the epitome of lawful good, because any sort of crusader type is a lawful good character. But I also want to point out that lawful good characters, or the lawful good alignment, is actually a very fine line between lawful good and lawful evil. And I'll give you an example, because you might be part of an order or part of a belief system where you think you're doing good, but you're actually doing bad by being dogmatic in your belief, right? And you could sort of say that's what the lawful alignments are like. So lawful neutral, so in between good and evil, you could say, is like a judge, because they have to be neutral. They have to be able to go either way with their decision making. I guess you could say they are lawful good too, but they're not sort of righteous. Their job is to be just. So I'm not sure how they would fit in, actually. I read a few examples that someone who's a judge would be neutral, but anyway. Maybe because they have to hear both sides to make a decision, right? So that's that. Now, I wanted to talk about another example of that. Like, it would be, I can't remember his name. It's from Pillars of Eternity, Eder. So he's a fighter, and he was from an order of people that followed, like, it's been a while since I was in this world, He was part of an order where they followed like a dude that was like the Messiah. He was like the incarnate of God, and they followed him. These people followed him, and it ended up causing a lot of rift between the people that didn't believe him, and there was like wars. And then because they followed him, there was a lot of deaths. And after that guy died, who was supposedly the Messiah, everyone hated the people that followed this group because they looked at them like evil people, because they killed a lot of people. They caused a lot of trouble. So that's a good example of someone who thinks they're lawful good, but they're actually lawful evil. So I sort of stay away from that kind of class. That's not... in fact, I don't like lawful... Look, I think we need lawful good people, but I certainly wouldn't choose that for myself. So moving on. So let's move to sort of the chaotic side. So chaotic good, basically you are following your own instincts and making your own decisions about things. So a chaotic good character, this is why I'm inspired by the song, because a chaotic good character is somebody who thinks about the decisions they have to make, even if it's against the common norm of social standards, which is why it's a very tough place to make a decision. Chaotic good. I'm not talking about chaotic neutral or chaotic evil. Chaotic good it is a very separate alignment, in my opinion. And it requires you to be more vulnerable, because you have to make decisions in light of these pressures, and try to live more true to your nature, even if everything is telling you not to, external things are telling you not to do this. Any advice from anyone or any group or anything like that is telling you not to think this way. So I tend to sway to that alignment when I'm playing these games, and even generally in life. Like, that's sort of my character. I don't choose it. I sort of end up that way. So when I'm looking at the alignments, I would pick neutral good, or sorry, I would pick chaotic neutral. Chaotic neutral to me, yeah, because that's the most freeing class. Because you can choose whatever you want to do. You will do evil if you want. If you can, like, if you want to steal something to benefit yourself, you'll do it, but you might do good too. Like, so you can do whatever you want. It's definitely the alignment that has the most freedom. But it doesn't matter what I do when I live it out, when I play, myself, I end up chaotic good, because I cannot not make good choices. Like, I want to help people. But I am willing to go against the grain, if it requires me to do good, even to make that decision. So that's chaotic good. Chaotic evil, just to sort of summarize, that's, even the evil classes, like lawful evil, you could say is like Darth Vader or someone like that, like someone who follows the rules and the dogma they have for their own self-interest. Chaotic evil is like, that's crazy town. Chaotic evil is like the most selfish person there is, basically. They'll do whatever they want. It's like demon-possessed person. I think for an example would be like Divinity Original Sin 2, there was a character called Losi who was possessed. Now, when she was possessed, for me, that was a chaotic evil person. There's always like a trope of like a chaotic evil or a lawful evil wizard, who's just like, scary and acting in their own self-interest, but inherently evil because they're like on this quest for power. That's definitely a trope. But chaotic evil is an interesting class because it even disregards, the like an order, like for an evil cult or something, of what they want to do. It's like, I'm doing my own thing. So to me, chaotic evil is probably the worst class in terms of evil, in terms of what they're capable of doing. Very scary stuff. So that's the classes, and I thought it was interesting explaining that. And I wanted to sort of talk about it in real life as well. So, because I think the ideas behind acting out, like real life alignment examples, like they come into play. And I think once you're exposed to these sorts of ideas, you do see it in people. And for example, like, you know, a good example would be like, you know, dogma, religious dogma. To me, that is lawful. That's anyone that's in the lawful category, religious dogma. So, but at the same time, I don't blame that group for acting out in that belief system, because there's a lot of other pressures that make people end up lawful, you could say, make people end up believing in dogma. It's not the ideas themselves that should be analysed, right? It's more complicated than that. There's a bigger picture of the ideas, not just the ideas. There's cultural, historical pressures, you know, real community-driven pressures of what these beliefs entail, which make you align with that. So a good example of that is my friend who, she dated this Jewish guy, and basically she was in love with him. They were in love with each other. He was separated and he had kids, and she was going through the whole process of becoming Jewish, you know, converting, all that sort of stuff, because she really wanted to be with this guy. She already dated a Jewish guy before that, and I think she met this guy after, and so it was just like she kept going along with that, but she really loved this guy. And in the end, basically, the community around the Jewish man said to him, because he was separated and had kids, so he wasn't seeing his wife, didn't like her, the Jewish community around him came up to him and said, you have to get back with your wife, or else you can't see your kids anymore, or your wife. We're going to kick you out of the whole community for the rest of your life, basically. This is it. And he chose the lawful good option for him, and he went back to the community, right? So the ideas themselves aren't what's pressurizing people to believe these things. So this is me observing this from a chaotic good stance, or chaotic neutral stance. Like, I'm observing it from over there, and this is how I see it. And I also see you'll see people like atheists who will rip apart religious dogma, and I think they're very poignant with their ideas, and I think rightfully so, that when they express how wrong these ideas are, I agree with them, because they're looking at these ideas in isolation by themselves. And when you look at anything like that, it can seem quite ridiculous without any bigger picture context of why people believe these things. And it's never the ideas by themselves. So it's very hard to act out like that. I think it's very helpful to step back and look at the ideas like separate from the communities and things, so you could make the decision, hey, hang on, this idea, belief might not be good enough, you know, to be lawful, for me to be lawful. Then you'll be chaotic good, right? Gone full circle. So I think that's the whole point of the chaotic good alignment. It's because you have more like machinations about your reasoning behind doing something. It's the most vulnerable alignment, because you have to be honest with yourself and go against these things and really be true to what you think you're doing is good, even if it means going against the community, right? And all these things, which wasn't what this Jewish man did, I could say, as an example. Anyway, to get off him. If my friend's watching, hi. Sorry I used your story. I think I'm going to leave it there. That's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. I just thought it was interesting to talk about this. I hope you're well, and be kind to yourself, and stay tuned for more music. Oh, if you want to, I'm going to be doing more videos. I'm going to try and release a music clip or song every week, basically. So I think I have 10 or so tracks for the fantasy themed album, and you know, I'll probably release maybe 4 or 5, or over the next month I'll release one every week, and then I'll release the whole thing at once, and it'll be all free to listen to. But you can, if you wish, you can buy it, and it would really help me and support me to continue to make music and be part of this awesome community of fantasy stuff and, you know, orchestral music, epic orchestral music. So, which I am chaotically good alignment, like not only constructed to this or constrained to this musical genre, I could say, because I do have an orchestral metal album coming out and a bit of like synth wavy stuff too. So you might see something like that earlier before some complete album drops. I don't even know if people release full albums anymore anyway. So just I'll be releasing tracks. You can listen to them. I hope you enjoy them. Peace out. Be good.